It's a great feeling to know that you can do something on your own, but it surely has to be a great feeling to know that you can put together a good team effort.
I think as coaches, as athletes, especially as winners, we must recognize performances that don't necessarily bring about gold medals, but bring about respect and personal achievement.
The very fact that I was going to do my best was what was important.
And we're not finished yet. We still got that gold medal to strive for, and we're going to do that by 88 for Seoul.
There's only one person I want to see before a race, and there's only one person I'm going to believe, and that's my coach.
And we've had a lot of support from all levels of government, and we couldn't have done it without them.
Hey, Halifax, Nova Scotia, hey, I'm coming back with the gold.
What a feeling. It's the pure exhilaration of success. It's the elation which dawns with the realization that you've finished on top of the world. 1986 proved to be a year rich in such emotion for Nova Scotia's finest athletes. It's been a year we'll remember with pride and nostalgia, and one to which every honored athlete, coach, official, sports scientist, and administrator contributed. Tonight we salute our outstanding sport achievers. This is your night, Nova Scotia's champions. This year, there were very few competitions on Canadian turf which escaped the impact of a Nova Scotia performance. In the air and on the water, we proved ourselves contenders every step of the way. We laid claim to more than 100 Canadian national titles in 1986. In 38 sports, Nova Scotians emerged as winners. And among us, we have dozens of gleaming gold medals to prove it. In many competitions, we proved a dominating force. A record 59 gold medals for the Nova Scotians competing in the 86 Masters Swimming Nationals speaks for itself. Nova Scotia's reputation as an emerging sports strength was reinforced throughout 1986. From the junior to the masters levels of competition, those who worked to continue that reputation did so with polish and with pride. Our outstanding athletes laid claim to coveted and well-deserved positions on Canada's national teams. In some sports, the skill and the strength of participating Nova Scotians were considered the national team's mainstay for success. Our accomplished athletes can be relied upon to deliver consistently high levels of competition. The veteran competitor made inroads during 1986. There were also new faces of aspiring Nova Scotians. Whether wearing the blue and white which so clearly identified Nova Scotia at the national level, or the red and white of a Canadian team member to an international event, Nova Scotians were part of the 1986 action. We met the challenge of competition with vigor and relished the opportunity to match strength and strategy with our peers from across Canada and around the world. Regardless of whether the field of competition was a national or an international one, whether the event was intercontinental or held a world title in the balance, Nova Scotians flew the provincial and the national colors with pride and success. In the last 12 months, our collective mark on the sports scene was emphatic. Every win is important. Some, in particular, clearly illustrate the level which our sport community has achieved. Tonight we honor the gold medalist in the featherweight division at the 86 Commonwealth Games, the reigning World Women's 470 sailing champions, and a Canadian medalist during the 1986 World Rowing competitions. When Robert McCall joined his partner on the podium at the World Figure Skating Championships in Geneva, they were the first Canadians in 22 years to claim world medals in the dance event. And Clary Stubbart shared the joy of his teammates in Australia as the Canadian contingent to the Gold Cup of wheelchair basketball claimed shining silver medals. These outstanding achievements and the hundreds more we honor tonight speak volumes for the determination and dedication of Nova Scotia's athletes. Each performance is a tribute to our relatively small but sturdy system of provincial sport development and to the partnership of sport, which encourages those with the will and the skill to win. Where would we be without our coaches? Perhaps out later than curfew and a little less sore, but also without the support, the knowledge, and the know-how to guide us to success. Part teacher, part parent, statistician, and strategist, Nova Scotia's fine coaches devote their precious time and talent to making sport a satisfying and rewarding experience. They are among the invaluable volunteers without whom the process of sport development simply wouldn't work. The officials, whose sense of fair play determines the success and enjoyment of every match from minor hockey to world-caliber water skiing. Those whose devotion to sport is directed to ensuring that the detail of sport administration is accurate and that the foundation upon which our winners stand is a firm and established one. These volunteers, like our sports scientists, therapists, and specialists, are essential to the partnership of sport and are involved for the joy and the accomplishment of encouraging success. What a year 1986 has been. Nova Scotia's outstanding sport achievers have carried the provincial spirit across the country, around the world, and have translated that spirit into action and victory. We have earned the right to count ourselves among Canada's most accomplished and the world's finest, and have walked the steps of many a winner's podium. The province of Nova Scotia salutes each and every one of you. You are indeed our champions. Champions who will always reach for the stars.
It should surprise no one that in 1986, Nova Scotia is producing national champions and world-class competitors. Nova Scotia has always played with the best on the field. Our achievers of today are drawn from a long and rich tradition of winners and are cheered by a province which has encouraged and honored generations of outstanding athletes. The spirit of Nova Scotia's sport community is steeped in decades of history. These past victories form the strong foundation upon which our present successes are built and will continue to grow.
"295 outstanding provincial athletes and coaches, award-winning teams, and those who have volunteered their time and talent to support sport in Nova Scotia are enshrined in the Provincial Sport Heritage Centre Hall of Fame. Each individual and the hundreds of others they represent have, by example, illustrated the success which results from commitment and have proven that the obstacles of geography and size are insignificant when compared with talent and determination to win.
Each name represents a story of dedication and a love of sport, and all exemplify the spirit of champions and shine bright as clear examples of the leadership which has motivated our contemporary winners. Accomplishments like that of Cape Bretoner Johnny Miles. 60 years ago, he ran and won the Boston Marathon, leaving the reigning Olympic champions in the dust. Then, 3 years later, he returned for a repeat performance and inspired generations of competitive Nova Scotians.
For decades, our prowess in the ring has ranked Nova Scotians with the best in the world. It's this tradition of excellence which our present-day winners carry throughout every fight.
Legendary is perhaps the only word to describe the history of Nova Scotia's sailors. And today's world-class competitors relive our heritage as maritime pioneers in every race.
We have cheered homegrown national heroes.
And Olympians.
International stars.
And each one has inspired the vigor of our competitors and confidence of our volunteers.
Look out, look out, look out, world.
In 1969, Nova Scotia's sport community assumed its greatest challenge to that point. In the glow of enthusiasm for what was then a young and fledgling project, Halifax Dartmouth orchestrated the first ever Canada Summer Games. Canada Games is this country's most challenging multi-sport event. In August of 1969, Nova Scotia's sport community set the standard to be met by every Games to come.
Many a Nova Scotian athlete has walked into the spotlight of national and international attention in the decades since the '69 Canada Games, and many have benefited from the legacy of facilities and resources which the Games established in the area.
Nova Scotia will once again host Canada this February when Cape Breton becomes the site of the 1987 Jeux Canada Games. These will be the best Winter Games ever held because the strength and the pride of Cape Breton are invested in them. Come February, all of Canada will once again experience the special spirit of the Nova Scotia Games, and many a sport reputation will be molded in the process.
Despite a rich sport history and a capable and ambitious sport community, Nova Scotia has yet to peak in the field of sports successes.
The world-class facilities of Lake Binook will serve as the course for the 1989 Junior World Canoeing Championships.
Sydney will be the site of World Powerlifting competition that same year. And in 1990, we are planning to host the prestigious World Figure Skating Championships in Halifax, Dartmouth.
And who knows, the Nova Scotians who may be part of these events.
Nova Scotia's sport community began from a position of strength. We have grown in numbers and in diversity. But the essence of success, which has for generations motivated our winners and those who support them, remains intact.
We have the capability to meet any world-class challenge.
We have the will to succeed.
And to win.